So, guys, here we go. We have a beautiful video from MrBeard, friend of mine. He actually popped in the stream a couple weeks ago, and he said, "Papa God, I want you to react to my newest video. It seems it's gonna be interesting." And I said, "MrBeard, I'll be the judge of that." And now we're here today to be the judge of that. It's an incredible time. It's about Demi Lovato. Which I'm looking forward to this. I like Ryan. One thing I got respect about Ryan, especially when it comes to Scott. Well, first of all, he's a good friend. I know that sounds cringe, but he's a cool guy. We disagree on some stuff, but he's a good guy. He's a good friend. Okay. Anyway, he has a nice array of content that he makes. He takes some risks. He doesn't just lean into the same old stuff. Here he's talking about Icke guy, and this girl has underarm hair, by the way. I'm not complaining. Anyway, then there's Trisha Paytas, then you got Sneeko, and then you got what is her name again? Demi Lovato. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff we're experimenting with, and I can appreciate that. So without further ado, let's get this going. Okay?
Maybe it's when they start.
Start over.
When I say the name Demi Lovato, what comes to mind?
All right, here's what comes to mind: yogurt, complaining, singing to ghosts. All things Demi Lovato has done. Or as I like to say, Demi Lovato. It's a little non-binary joke, if you know what I mean.
Maybe it's when they starred in the Disney Channel show Sunny with a Chance when they were younger, or maybe it's when they starred in the movie Camp Rock.
Nice.
Maybe it's their successful music career.
Sing
what
to ghosts.
Probably doesn't come to mind is them promoting an anti-Semitic lizard cult.
That actually makes sense, because all Disney Channel shows promote anti-Semitic lizard cults. So, actually true. Just kidding. Am I? You ever notice that the D in Disney is bigger than the rest of the letters? That's because it's talking about the Jews. You didn't think about that, did you?
But unfortunately, that's what we're going to be talking about today. On November 4th of last year, Demi posted, "Thrilled to be a Gaia ambassador. Understanding the world around us, the known and the unknown, is so exciting to me." Now, if you're like I was a few months ago, you might not be aware exactly what Gaia is. Well, Gaia is a titan from the Greek mythology. That is true. That is true. Oh, I only required 360. Let's do that, because I mean, you get these goobers that can't do any damage. Online streaming platform that's kind of similar to Netflix that claims to promote conscious media.
You think that she was really hot on the Disney Channel? You know who I used to think was really hot? What's that show called with that guy, the Holes guy, Shia LaBeouf. What show was he in? Shia LaBeouf was in a show called Kids Show. What's that show called? Even Stevens. Even Stevens had a girl in the show, his sister Ren. I had a crush on her, dude, and I'm her age. So shut the fuck up. Okay. Also, Mosby from Ned's Declassified. Jeez, you know what I mean? Based.
At first glance, Gaia appears to be a somewhat harmless platform that's focused around yoga videos about alien encounters, and videos promoting New Age spirituality.
Okay.
But after you dig a bit deeper, you realize that this platform is promoting dangerous conspiracy theories that, in my opinion, are blatantly racist and anti-Semitic. So in this video, I hope to prove why—
Those are the best types of ists, you know what I'm saying? Fuck activists, am I right?
Why I think Gaia is so harmful, and why I think we should hold celebrities accountable when they choose to promote this dangerous streaming platform. Strap in, because this one's gonna get crazy.
I'm ready.
I first became aware of Gaia a few months back when I stumbled upon this TikTok account called Zohar Stargate.
You guys remember the Adam Sandler movie, Zohan? Not one of his bests. Personally, I think Jack and Jill was better. And yes, I mean it. Jack and Jill was funnier than people. I don't know why Jack and Jill got all the hate. It doesn't make any sense to me. Jack and Jill was actually pretty decent, but you guys are coping.
Originally, I just found the account extremely funny because they posted a bunch of TikToks that were batshit insane, like this one.
The Reptilians' giant mothership is the moon, and that's where they escaped to during the cataclysms of the Great Flood.
Personally, I would have ran away during the cataclysm as well. Worst expansion ever made. Not really that bad. BFA was worse.
They themselves had caused by manipulating
they themselves. That's why Demi Lovato likes them.
The orbit of the moon and creating other cosmic events.
Okay, I'm on board.
To keep an eye on people and as a vehicle to travel the universe.
So, according to this, the moon is a giant mothership that is being piloted by reptilians.
Okay.
Makes perfect sense.
Okay.
I wish I could just play.
If that was true, why don't the reptilians just like kind of drive the moon a little too far away? It'll fuck up all the ocean stuff, and then boom, it's gonna be like Waterworld with Kevin Costner. Also, not that bad. It gets a bad rap. It was not that bad of a movie. I don't know why people hated it so much. It wasn't that good, but hey, you know what? It was an interesting concept. It was kind of cool.
You this video and we could laugh together about how ridiculous it is and move on with our lives. But unfortunately, whenever someone uses the word reptilian, that's usually a red flag that there's probably some anti-Semitism going on here. When I was younger, I thought that claiming reptiles run society was just a joke that everyone knew was completely ridiculous, but eventually I learned that this conspiracy theory...
Bro, Ryan just doesn't get it, dude. He just doesn't understand the reptilians control the world, dude. I know, because I am one. There was this interesting bit. I think it was Louis C.K. He tried to get like a senator or something to. He kept saying that he was a reptilian in some capacity, and he kept saying it over and over again. And the reason he was doing it, I think it was Louis C.K., is because he wanted the guy to say, "I'm not a reptilian," because then he's on like official record permanently saying, "No, I'm not a reptilian creature." And it's just like a funny joke. It's just like funny to me because it's so preposterous, but true. Because then people could be like, "Well, he did say he wasn't this thing," and then you could start saying that they were that thing. It's just kind of silly and funny.
Like a lot of conspiracy theories, is based in anti-Semitism, which didn't make much sense to me because I didn't see any connection between reptiles and Jewish people, but in this video, I hope to prove to you that it absolutely is rooted in anti-Semitism. I wanted to learn more about...
I've heard about that too, but like, why is it rooted in anti-Semitism? Like, I wonder what it is. Is it like supposed to be some kind of like trope that says that they're like slimy like snakes or something? Or maybe it's, because that's where I know it's not quite reptilian, but you know, a lot of these things will like evolve over time, and or maybe it was like trying to assert that Jewish people were like the snake devil, you know, like the devil who poses a snake to get that woman to eat an apple. She ruined our whole lives. You know, everything's women's fault, right? You know, I wonder if that's it.
This Zohar Stargate TikTok account, so I clicked the link in their bio and it brought me to Gaia's website. I'm not exactly sure what the link between Zohar Stargate and Gaia is. I couldn't figure out if Zohar Stargate is owned by Gaia or if they just have some sort of partnership with Gaia that allows them to post clips from Gaia on their TikTok account, but regardless, I want to...
Well, I think anybody can post anything. I mean, you see a whole episodes of Family Guy into, you know, 30-second bits on there. I don't think that they do too much about the DMCA thing. I think if anything, TikTok is like, yeah, put whatever you want up. And I think that they try to make it, same thing with Twitch, they try to make it so that like you have to actively put in for a copyright strike to have something copyright struck, which makes sense because then if you decide to copyright strike things without explicitly being told to, then of course, then you put yourself in a position where you deciding that you're going to take it upon yourself to, you know, start doing that, and then you have to implement the whole thing, and it turns into a problem.
I wanted to learn more about this mysterious streaming service that was linked to this TikTok account. Gaia is an alternate media video streaming service that was founded by a man named Jirka Raisavi. In addition to the yoga content and the spirituality content I mentioned before, a lot of Gaia's content focuses around various conspiracy theories, like the theory that Bigfoot is actually real, the theory that Atlantis is actually real, and the theory that there are deep space portals called Stargates that you can use to travel to Mars. I'm assuming that the name of the TikTok account, Zohar Stargate, has something to do with these Stargates.
Wasn't Stargate like a popular like sci-fi show? Is that where that comes from? That's fucking hilarious, honestly.
In my opinion, these conspiracy theories are all relatively harmless, so if we want to prove that Gaia is a dangerous platform, then we need to focus on this category on their website titled Cabal.
Ooh.
Let me take a second to thank today's sponsor, ExpressVPN.
All right.
Would you ever go out in public without pants on?
Oh.
No? Why not? Because you would be exposed? Well then, why would you surf the internet without a VPN? Whenever you're surfing the internet on an unencrypted...
Listen, I got nothing to hide when it comes to me looking at the stuff I look at. I'm just going to be real with you. If you want to see the disgusting, vile shit that I look at, that's your trauma. I don't know what you want me to tell you. But, you know, I mean, it's your fucking funeral, dude. You're not helping yourself. Why would you go that way? You stupid, inept fucking idiot. Did I say that you should go this way? Did I say that this is the direction that you should be going? I'm the tank, bitch. I control the flow of the dungeon. If you don't ever fucking do that shit without me, bro. Don't you fucking dare, you stupid bitch. All right, let's continue. Wrong way. Wrong way, you fat fucking pig. Sorry. Having a little bit of a moment here. Having a little bit of a moment. A little too sussy. But they clearly don't understand the pathway of the dungeon. Let's continue.
Network on your phone, tablet, computer, etc., you are sending countless pieces of information that can be intercepted by anyone who wants to view this private information.
Good.
But ExpressVPN encrypts your data using best-in-class encryption, making it impossible to intercept.
I would only get it
Also,
if I wanted
did
to
you
watch
know that
Netflix
in the
from
US,
like other countries.
internet service providers can legally sell your data to ad companies?
Hey, listen, that gives me better targeted ads, am I right, guys? You know? That's why when I say, hey, I'm in the mood for Italian tonight, which I never say, but I start all of a sudden getting Olive Garden ads. You know, that's just weird. But it kind of does happen.
There have been times where I'll search for something on the internet, and then I get ads for that thing I searched for weeks. I absolutely hate that feeling like I'm being spied on when I'm using the internet. That's why I always use
it is true. That's actually happened to me. I could probably pull it up. But ever since I bought that Blacks plush, I literally will not stop giving me advertisements to that plush. Oh no, it stopped giving me the advertisement. Now it's giving me advertisements for Facebook, but all right.
ExpressVPN. ExpressVPN has the fastest speeds in the business because they only invest in premium servers.
Nice.
And they have been voted the #1 VPN by CNET, The Verge, Mashable, TechRadar, and many more. So find out how you can get 3 months of ExpressVPN for free by going to expressvpn.com/beard or by clicking the link in the description below. Thanks again, ExpressVPN.
Nice.
This category's description reads, powerful elites won't disclose strategic deception or historical disinformation when it comes to the New World Order.
Historical disinformation. No. What do you think that is, guys? Is that potential Holocaust denial that I'm sensing here? That's what it tastes like.
From the Freemasons to the Illuminati, there are countless conspiracy theories tied to these top secret societies.
That's a good point, though. If you put the VPN on, it does. Are you able to get targeted advertisements from YouTube that gives me additional monies, dude? Like, I mean, come on, bro. You know?
But what is the truth? A mass consciousness shift looms as we expose shadow governments, mysterious organizations, new age technologies, evidence of UFOs, and cover-ups that will change everything. Explore our collection of cabal documentaries and join filmmakers as they go down the rabbit hole to get to the real truth. In this category, there are a number of documentaries.
Hey guys, there's a secret society of people that are controlling the world, but they didn't control me from saying this, so everything adds up.
From various experts in the field of conspiracy theories. One of the main men whose documentaries are being promoted here is a man named David Icke. By claiming that these documentaries expose the real truth, Gaia is endorsing David Icke's beliefs that there's a cabal of evil elites controlling all of us. At the beginning of many of Gaia's documentaries, they claim that the views and opinions expressed by individuals in the following program do not necessarily reflect those of the network or its affiliates. But in my opinion, they kind of just put this there in an attempt to cover their ass. Because, like I just said, the description on this cabal category definitely promotes that these documentaries are true. This isn't like YouTube where anyone can upload anything. These documentaries have been handpicked by Gaia to promote their agenda. So I believe that if we can prove that these documentaries by David Icke are anti-Semitic, this will prove that Gaia as an organization promotes anti-Semitism.
Maybe. I mean, it depends. Because of the smallness, we'll say, of the platform, I could kind of agree with the argument that he's making here. But I will say that, like, some places, like, or like an Amazon bookstore, for instance, or something, might, you know, have a particular book or something that might not, you know, they're not going to necessarily align with. And I think you have to be somewhat secret. Although maybe it's a little different. I don't know. I mean, it depends. Like, you wouldn't say that about Netflix, would you? I don't know. I guess it depends. Who funded the creation of it? Because to me, that's a pivotal question. But okay.
Which will prove that Demi Lovato chose to promote an anti-Semitic platform. So, who exactly is David Icke? David Icke is a 70-year-old British man who started his career as a soccer player. He then went on to be a sports broadcaster for the BBC before becoming the author and conspiracy theorist he's known as today. David Icke is known as one of the fathers.
It's called the soccer to conspiracy theorist pipeline. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of that before. Very popular thing. It's basically like the alt-right pipeline, but it's only for you know, I don't know. It's only for white people or something. I don't even know. I don't even have a joke lined up. Based
of modern conspiracy theories, and he's one of the main people who popularized the theory that society is being run by reptilians.
Okay.
If we're going to get to the bottom of whether or not his reptile conspiracy theories are anti-Semitic, we're going to need to start by explaining his belief system. This is going to be a lot, but try to follow along.
I'm ready.
So David claims that he believes in a religion called Gnosticism, which he says is the true version of Christianity.
Okay.
David believes that mainstream Christianity and Judaism are false religions,
Okay.
and that the followers of these religions are being manipulated by fourth dimensional beings called archons.
I mean, let's be honest. So far, this isn't that outlandish. I mean, like I grew up, religious Roman Catholic, but I mean, let's be honest. If it wasn't so normal to us, specific teachings, it would seem a little bizarre if you ever tried to explain religion to somebody who's never heard of religion before. So this is pretty normal.
The word archon means ruler in Greek, and David claims that the religion of Gnosticism shows us that these archons are the ones behind the forces of evil in the universe.
Ooh, evil.
Basically, these archons are evil aliens from another dimension who feed off of negative energy.
Makes sense.
David claims that humans create...
Yeah, they're called women. It's funny.
positive energy when they're happy, and they create negative energy when they're suffering. And because
that's
these
women.
Archon aliens feed off of negative energy, their goal is to create as much pain and suffering in the world as possible. David claims that the religion of Gnosticism shows that the God of the Bible and the Torah is actually the devil, or more accurately, he's the king of the Archons. Basically, he believes that anyone who claims to be a Christian or a Jew is actually a Satanist, because the God that they worship is secretly an evil alien. David believes that in the past, these Archons traveled from the fourth dimension to our planet in the third dimension. Now, the Archons are invisible to the naked eye, but because they wanted to take a physical form on Earth, they decided to mate with humans.
Jews, and they became Jews.
What happens when an Archon mates with a human? It creates a reptilian. So, according to David, the reptilians from these conspiracy theories are half human, half Archon. David claims that the goal of the
I'm not saying it's Jewish people. I just assumed that that's like the anti-Semitic trope. Also, I just got stunned, and that's anti-Semitic. Me getting stunned in a game is anti-Semitic because I'm ethnically Jewish. So every time I get hurt in a game, it's bigoted.
Archons is world domination. So throughout history, they've created Archon bloodlines, which have risen to the top positions of power in many countries. David claims that most U.S. presidents have been reptilians. He claims that the Queen of England was a reptilian, and he claims that most Jewish leaders are reptilians. Like I mentioned, David believes that the Archon's goal is to make humanity suffer because Archons feed off of negative energy. So they get into these top positions of power and then make the world as bad as possible so they can feed off of humans' negative energy. And one way David claims they do this is by eating babies.
Yeah.
And many of them are involved in paedophilia, which, as I've said and explained at greater length in other docu-connecting shows, is connected to this archontic force that has this desire, most of all, to feed off the energy of children before puberty.
This is also known as blood libel, which is...
Isn't that like part of the whole theory about like people will be like, oh, Jewish people, they have the rabbis give the bris, right? That's where you get the foreskin chippered off, but they'll eat it so they can absorb its energy. That's like a weird conspiracy I heard about.
Is an anti-Semitic conspiracy theory that has been promoted by many Christians against Jewish people since the medieval period. If you've ever heard...
I need to say, though, I've never met a rude Christian in my entire life. Always the nicest people. It's the Johns you have to worry about. They are real. I don't think I've ever met a nice John. They're always a scumbag. Be warned, ladies and gentlemen.
The QAnon conspiracy theory that Democrats like Hillary Clinton eat babies, this is where that conspiracy theory originated. And David claims that the ultimate goal of the reptilians is to use artificial intelligence to brainwash humanity into connecting all of our brains into a hive mind that is controlled by the Archons. Now, there are many names that David uses to describe this secret society of reptilians that he claims runs the world. The Illuminati, the Babylonian Brotherhood, the New World Order, the Globalists, the Elites, the Sabbatian cult.
Skill became a member.
Thank you so much for the membership, brother. The small gut. This literally just sounds like Alex Jones. Honestly, this whole fucking thing just sounds like Alex Jones.
All of these terms refer to basically the same thing: the secret society of half alien, half human reptilian archons that David claims runs society. Now, does David have any concrete evidence to support any of these claims? Of course not.
Oh.
This is all absolute nonsense. But unfortunately, naive people who are susceptible to believing things without any real evidence
I was not expecting him to drag the fuck out of Sneeko on that one. Oh Lord. Okay.
do often fall for these conspiracies. Now, it would be one thing if David Icke was just a kooky conspiracy theorist that we could all laugh at because of how ridiculous his beliefs are, but the thing that makes him so dangerous is the way he spreads anti-Semitism through his conspiracy theories, and the way that neo-Nazis weaponize this anti-Semitism. If you were to ask David Icke...
What was that? That was a handsome guy.
And the way that neo-Nazis weaponize...
Reptilian version of the popular antisemitic happy merchant drawing. Oh, okay.
Is this anti-Semitism?
I should know
if
the
you were
text
to
said.
ask David Icke if he is anti-Semitic,
He was
he
gonna
would
say
say
no, of course.
no, because according to him, not all Jews are reptiles, only most Jewish leaders and certain influential families like the Rothschilds are.
Yeah.
There is this racism kind of
And Soros, I think that's a popular one to be anti-Semitic towards.
label that is thrown at people that highlight this to keep them quiet. If you, if they were Hispanics, if they were African Americans, people would go, "Hold on, what's going on?" But because of that, you, I'm not supposed to say anything because you're anti-Semitic.
But through my
If you said that like if black leaders were all reptiles, I would say that you're a racist. I just want to be explicitly clear here. Just saying. So.
research, I think I can prove to you beyond a shadow of a doubt that he absolutely is anti-Semitic, and when he claims that he isn't, he is lying. So let's look at all the evidence that David Icke is anti-Semitic. Like I mentioned before, David believes that these Jewish leaders practice blood libel by eating babies, which is a common anti-Semitic trope that has been used against Jewish people since medieval times. Next, David claims that the book The Protocols of the Elders of Zion, a fabricated book that claims that Jews are attempting world domination, which was used by Hitler as one of the justifications for the Holocaust, is actually completely accurate. David likes to call this book The Protocols of the Illuminati instead of calling it The Protocols of the Elders of Zion. But just because he calls it by a different name and says that the Elders of Zion are actually reptilians, that does not discount the fact that he believes one of the most influential anti-Semitic texts of all time is actually true. David has claimed that he doesn't think all Jewish people are reptiles, but he does think that Zionists, the Jewish people who claim that the homeland of Israel should be returned to the Jewish people, are reptiles.
Zionism is, in its public expression, a political system with a political agenda. But at its core, it is a secret society.
Now, as a leftist, I do not think that Zionists have a claim to the territory of Palestine, and I'm completely against the way many Zionists treat Palestinians. But there is a massive difference between criticizing the political actions of a group of people and claiming that that group of people are actually evil, satanic, baby-eating reptiles.
I'll just say, Jewish people have gotten a lot of dicks in their butt, and it's kind of unfortunate. You know, I want, because they've always gotten evicted from their homeland. I agree they treat Palestinians like shit, but I'm just saying, man, like Jewish people have gotten a rough time. I don't know what their homeland should be, but I mean, they got to get something, right? Something's got to go. You got to get something, man. I feel like they've gotten fucked their whole lives, bro. It's fucking crazy.
Disgusting theory that David has promoted is the idea that Zionist bankers actually funded the Holocaust because helping Hitler kill the Jews would give Zionists justification to declare Israel as their homeland.
Incredible.
This has to be one of the stupidest, most disgusting things I've ever heard. 60% of the world's Jewish population was killed in the Holocaust, but you're claiming that these Zionists helped Hitler kill over half of their own people just so they could have a justification to move into Palestine? What the actual fuck? As I mentioned before, David believes that the god Jewish people worship is actually the leader of the
I was gonna make a joke, but I actually have like a serious thing to consider, because we've talked about like why there's like disproportionate like Jewish representation in like you know, in like wealthy positions, I guess you'd say, in some capacities, at least in America. And I'm like trying to think, I wonder if it's just because like the more wealthy Jews were able to escape Germany and come to America and establish a life there with the money that they already had. It's like, how disproportionate is it outside of America? You know? I don't know. Obviously, there's probably a lot of disproportionate Jewish representation in, you know, Israel. But, like, isn't that the case for a lot of stuff? Aren't there like a lot of rich Chinese people here? And they tend to perform well. And a lot of it's because they come here with a lot of wealth. So you think that that's just part of it? Like, they just came here with, like, a lot of money? You know what I mean? Possible. I'm just saying. Just speaking off the dome.
archons, so he believes that the entire Jewish religion is dedicated to worshipping baby-eating pedophile reptiles. I don't know how anyone could possibly argue that that is not anti-Semitic. David would claim that some Christians and people of other religions are also reptilians, so he can't possibly be anti-Semitic, but just because you also slander other religions doesn't make it okay to slander the Jewish religion. And his documentary series called David Icke Connector is absolutely littered with images of Stars of David and mentions of Zionists and the Rothschilds, but he barely mentions Christians at all. So even if David does claim that some Christians and people of other religions are also reptilians, he has a very clear bias specifically against Jewish people.
True.
So let's review. David claims that he is not anti-Semitic, but he does believe that the Jewish religion is actually Satanism and they worship baby-eating pedophile reptiles. He believes that most, if not all, Jewish leaders are baby-eating pedophile reptiles. He believes that the texts Hitler used to justify the Holocaust are actually true, and he believes that Jews purposefully funded the Holocaust. David Icke is very clearly anti-Semitic. Also,
maybe, you know, Ryan, you haven't quite convinced me yet, okay? You know what I mean? You know? Because me personally, as a fucking idiot, I don't believe anybody's anti-Semitic, even if the warning signs are explicitly clear, unless they specifically go onto a talk show and say, I love Hitler. Because if you don't do that, how am I supposed to know that you're anti-Semitic? Just because you're proposing the Jewish question constantly while using it to be disparaging of Jewish people doesn't mean you're anti-Semitic. You have to say, I love Hitler. And then I'm like, well, now it makes sense. Because, you know, I'm so fucking stupid, I can't read between the lines. But he did make graduation, though. So, what do you think about it?
if these reptilians are supposedly so powerful, then why has David Icke been allowed to just publicly expose them for years? You would think that these all-powerful...
Well, just like they funded the Holocaust, Ryan. They're funding his organization so that they can make it look like it's fake. That's crazy. Next level IQ.
Interdimensional shape-shifting beings would have stopped him by now. You know why David has been allowed to keep spreading these conspiracy theories? Because the reptilians don't exist, so none of them have tried to stop him.
No, the reptilians do exist, but if they can fund this guy into leading people to think that Jewish people are the reptilians, then they won't figure out who the true reptilians are, which are Italian people. Okay? All right? It's true. Okay? Why do you think Italian people eat cheese with maggots in it? Because they're fucking reptiles. Okay? I'm not even kidding. Okay? They're fucking reptiles. It's called a Casu March. That's a name of the reptile that created that cheese. The Italian reptile. Okay? Wake up, America. Italians are the problem. Okay, guys? They're the problem. Think about
him. People in the alt-right absolutely love David's conspiracy theories, because if you can convince people that Jewish people aren't actually human beings, they're actually evil reptiles, it is much easier to justify acts of violence against them. So even if David doesn't personally believe that he hates every single Jewish person, his conspiracy theories are absolutely being used by neo-Nazis to justify hatred and violence against Jewish people. As we've been seeing recently, anti-Semitic conspiracy theories have been gaining more and more popularity.
True.
So I think it's worth talking through how to dismantle these conspiracy theories because, unfortunately, simply deplatforming them isn't making them go away. The most common...
I think one of the... all jokes aside, I think one of the best ways is probably to start talking about, like, disproportionate Jewish representation, like, and why it might be happening. I think before we came up with, like, a great argument, like, I think part of it is because, like, a lot of the Jews here may have just been, like, wealthier Jews that were able to come here, you know, because that's how a lot of, like, the American mantra is we only take the best. Oh, we'll only take the best, right? And so it's easier to come to this country if you're already rich. And then, of course, if you have, like, a disproportionate amount of rich people from a particular group come in, you know, then they're going to be a little more affluent in America. Same thing with, like, a lot of Asian groups. There's a lot of, like, rich Asian groups that come here. That's probably part of it, I would say. Probably a big part of it, honestly. Yeah. So, there you go. I figured it out. Papa, what does your red hat say? How do you know I have a red hat? Oh! Where? It says make pee-pee poo-poo again. That's what it says. It's actually a very comfortable hat.
Claim I often see being made is that Jews control the media and the banking system. Now, it is true that there are quite a few Jewish people in these industries, but...
And it explains it. If, like, I mean, who would be rich? Like, they come over, maybe there was, like, a lot of Jewish bankers that came over because they had money. You know what I mean? Or something like that. I don't know. It makes sense. And then, like, they might culturally steer people to go in that direction. That makes sense to me. You know, I don't really know, but I'm just saying.
Correlation does not equal causation. Just because a group of people have found success in an industry does not mean they're controlling that industry for nefarious purposes. Almost every industry in the U.S. is primarily run by Christians, and almost every single U.S. president throughout history has been a Christian. Does this somehow prove that there's a cabal of Christians trying?
Well, I think that guy said that that the Christians are part of the lizard people. So I guess he's covering all of his bases with that one, huh?
Eat babies and control the world through mind control? No, of course not. And one of the main reasons that Jewish people tend to be highly represented in the banking industry is because in the Middle Ages, Christians actually forced Jewish people out of many industries. But because Christians saw money lending as sinful, they didn't want to be moneylenders, which led to Jewish people taking up this profession.
There you go.
And through their success as moneylenders, Jewish people became more and more financially successful over time, which then led to Christians promoting the stereotype that Jews are greedy and money hungry. And these anti-Semitic stereotypes are eventually what led to the Holocaust, and they still contribute to anti-Semitism today. So Christians oppressed Jewish people to the point where they could only find success in banking, but then when they did find success in banking, Christians just used that as a justification to keep oppressing them. People say that the American dream is to start from nothing and then find your way to financial success.
Exactly, just like Drake said. He started from the bottom, now we're here. And he truly did start from the bottom because he used to be in a wheelchair because he was shot in the spine when he was in high school. But then he made a miraculous recovery after he left Degrassi. So it's really interesting because this is a guy who started in like the lowly position of a middle class, affluent family, and he was able to work his way up, standing up. And so you got to respect that guy for his grind. By the way, isn't Anthony Fantano? I watched a compilation of that guy the other day talking about Drake, and it's honestly one of the funniest fucking things in the entire world for him to just shit on Drake. I don't even know Drake's music really very well. I think one of them is called One Dance, but personally, I've never danced in my life because I'm white. And it was just funny. He would just shit on him the whole time.
But when Jewish people start from nothing and then find success in banking or the media, people hate them and kill them for it. Conspiracy theorists love to say, if you want to know who's really controlling you, it's the people who you're not allowed to criticize. But this is just not true. You can criticize Jewish people as long as your criticisms are based in reality.
Well, what's so funny is that I think a lot of people, like, they okay, well, that's, okay. It's so funny because a lot of people are like, yeah, there's, you're not allowed to make jokes about Jews or do this or that. It's just not true. I mean, especially if you grew up watching anything ever, at least for me, I'm a little older, I'm 32. And like anti-Semitic jokes were like so casual. Well, like, it was funny too. I watching this. You ever watch the show Strung Together? Very edgy show. Constantly making Jewish jokes alongside black jokes and this and that. Like, in general, it's not as socially acceptable to be as edgy as we used to be in general. It's kind of a taboo, especially if you're a white guy, it's like, God, you can't, I mean, that's literally every white guy's joke is just being racist, and you have to take that away from us.
As I mentioned before, I condemn the acts that many Zionists have taken against Palestinians. And I can say this because this is fair criticism. It is not fair criticism to call them baby-eating reptiles. If you want to criticize a group of people, just criticize them based on reality, you fucking morons. These types of conspiracies can be very tempting to people because it's very natural for humans to want to fight back against what they perceive as authoritarianism. And because the far right realizes this, they have to find scapegoats to prey on people's fears and get them to ignore the real authoritarianism that the far right promotes. As long as they can keep their followers worrying about immigrants, Jewish people, and trans people, they can get them to ignore the actual oppressive systems like the patriarchy, capitalism, and white supremacy. Unfortunately, as much as I hate to admit it, conspiracy theories can be very rhetorically effective with people who lack critical thinking skills. And it's very easy to defend conspiracy theories against any sort of criticism. To show you how easy it is to defend conspiracy theories, let's create our own conspiracy. My ancestors were Irish, so let's say that Irish people are secretly naked mole rat aliens from the planet Dildotron who have come
I would believe this so far.
to Earth to steal Earth's potatoes. Now, if you say that's completely ridiculous,
I mean, maybe they do seem to love potatoes, and maybe they created the Irish famine just so that they could justify eating all those potatoes. Because they were embarrassed because they eat so many potatoes. That's how I feel when I eat so many chicken nuggets. So I go like, oh, I pretend to have an eating disorder. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh, I have an eating disorder. I can only eat chicken nuggets. I'm so sorry. That joke's very funny to me, and it's going to be funny to like 1% of my audience because it's like a thing that people with some eating disorders only like chicken nuggets and macaroni. So it's just kind of funny. It's just funny. And I know that everybody with that eating disorder will laugh at that joke. They'll be like, that's funny, Papa God. Thank you for representing us in your silly humor. Oh, but it's so funny to me, bro. I really crack myself up. I'm like any dad who hasn't left their kid.
I can say, of course you're saying it's ridiculous.
By the way, that's how you know what I mean? Understand that they're not ready until they start making dad jokes. It is an actual biological function of men who are ready to be fathers that they spin off the most ridiculous, dumb fucking dad jokes ever. It's true because I said so. So you've been warned, ladies. If your guy's not making silly dad jokes, is he really ready to be a father? Some people think that the dad jokes come second. It's not true.
To silence me because you know I'm speaking the truth. And literally nothing you can say can convince me that my conspiracy theory is false.
Oh, piss my balls.
Trying to convince me that it's false just confirms my confirmation bias that you're trying to silence the truth. And if you try to show me studies and data and evidence that disprove my conspiracy theory, I can just say, well, the people who ran those studies were bought out by the Irish, and all of this evidence has been manipulated. You've been brainwashed by their Irish mind control tricks into thinking that they aren't trying to steal our potatoes. But if you would just wake up and step outside of the matrix, you would see that I'm telling the truth. If you say, this conspiracy theory is really dangerous, and I don't think we should be spreading it on social media because it's going to lead to higher rates of violence against Irish people, I can say, well...
I say, who cares? Fuck you, Irish people. Oh, dude. It is true. It is true. It's true. It's true.
Of course you think that. Those sneaky naked mole rat Irish people have manipulated the social media companies into taking down the truth. You've probably been paid off by the Irish. Or maybe you're secretly Irish yourself and you're just trying to steal my potatoes! You get the idea. No matter how much you try to fight back against conspiracy theories, the people that believe in them will always come up with some justification that you're just trying to silence the truth. This is why I think it's so important to teach children critical, evidence-based thinking from a young age. Just because a conspiracy theory sounds convincing, you shouldn't believe in it unless you have been shown concrete, irrefutable evidence that it is true. Alright, well, we've gotten kind of far away from the reason that you clicked on this video. Demi Lovato promoting a racist lizard cult. In my opinion, because we've proved that David Icke is anti-Semitic, and we've proved that Gaia endorses his views, I do think we should hold celebrities like Demi Lovato accountable when they choose to promote this platform. If we're gonna give
I will say, I'm not entirely convinced that Demi Lovato has anything to do with it. To me, it's almost like, it's an interesting, first of all, the video is great. I liked it a lot. It was fun. I'm just not convinced. You know, I think it was a cool video, though. I liked it. You know, I liked a little bit of the Demi Lovato clickbait, too. I enjoyed it. You know what I'm saying? I just don't know if I believe that. What the fuck's happening? Where'd my gear go? Oh, I already have it. Sorry.
Demi the benefit of the doubt. Maybe they just didn't do their research and they chose to work with Gaia because of their love for the supernatural. Demi actually has a TV show on Peacock called Unidentified with Demi Lovato where they talk about their supposed extraterrestrial experiences.
Oh, it's so bad.
I personally believe in giving...
It's so bad and it's so funny. We did like a video reaction a while ago to it. She starts singing to a ghost, or sorry, they start singing to a ghost. I thought that they may have said that they're not, I don't know, sorry, whatever. I think they might have said that they're not non-binary anymore, whatever. Anyway, singing a ghost and shit, and they're like, it's just so funny, and the ghost starts screaming, stop! It doesn't do that. It starts responding in some capacity. And I think the ghost is telling her to shut the fuck up, but, you know, that's just me.
giving people second chances and
Oh
allowing
shit!
them to
What's up, Ryan? He's in here. He's in here. He's in here. Sorry, brother. You have to rewind. I can't. I guess I could try to react to it, but I don't think I can remember all the dad jokes I told.
learn and grow from their mistakes. But if Demi knew that this platform promoted anti-Semitism and still chose to work with them, in my opinion, that's much less forgivable.
Well, to be honest with you, anti-Semitism is kind of the new cool thing to do. So if she did know she was promoting anti-Semitism, fuck, whatever. I can't do it. That's based.
To not just focus
Oh, I only think I'm not convinced by. Okay. So I don't know Gaia too well or how deep of a streaming service it is. So I don't know if the platform itself promotes anti-Semitism, because I know like Amazon, the whole Kyrie Irving thing, where Kyrie, like, he just put out that documentary, or he referenced that documentary that was like anti-Semitic because it promoted the idea that the Holocaust was like, it was Holocaust denial was part of it. I don't think Amazon's anti-Semitic for having that on their platform. So I don't know like the relationship with Gaia has with the creation of its content, unless they explicitly like funded the creation of it. I don't know if I'm convinced that they explicitly endorse the anti-Semitism on there. I'm also not familiar with the Gaia platform in general. So
on Demi, Russell Brand and Giancarlo Esposito from Breaking Bad have also worked with Gaia, and I think they should also be held responsible. Unfortunately,
don't talk shit about Gus, all right, dude? Come on. Now you're going too far, dude.
As progressives are in a tough position where if we try to hold celebrities accountable for promoting anti-Semitism or working with anti-Semites, people say that we're engaging in cancel culture. But if we don't call these people out, it allows anti-Semitism to keep growing, which directly...
Okay. So I think the difference is that Gaia has the category called cabal. They have like a whole, what is it? Is it like a whole entire conspiracy theory based category? Interesting. Okay. That makes it a little different. I have to understand a little more. But like, are only like, what else is under that category? Is it only like anti-Semitic shit, or is it like other silly conspiracies that people have as well?
Directly leads to harm against the Jewish community. Personally, I care more about trying to keep marginalized communities safe than I care about people on the internet labeling me a woke SJW or whatever. With the rise of
Really? Okay, that makes it different. Okay. Oh, fuck! Sorry, I just didn't react to a mechanic. Oh, it didn't actually do that much damage.
Fascism right now happening across the world, we all have to stick together and stand up for each other and not let these hateful, ridiculous beliefs keep spreading. Because, let's be absolutely clear, these reptilian conspiracy theories are absolute fucking nonsense. If you choose to believe that society is being run by interdimensional reptiles, I think you are incredibly stupid, and you need to realize the harm that comes to marginalized communities when you choose to believe in this nonsense. I've honestly been feeling kind of hopeless lately, because people claim that they're trying to find the truth, but then they just believe in hateful nonsense with absolutely no evidence.
Well, I mean, that's the thing, is that nowadays the truth is just things that like you're not supposed to say, rather than being things that are actually true. I think we have a lot of people. I mean, honestly, I don't know. I mean, I feel like part of it you could probably blame on, not fully, but listen, man. We've had a little bit of a crazy last few years where anytime anybody ever tries to say anything that might not be necessarily politically correct, they're labeled as like a terrible, shitty person. And it's probably frustrated a lot of people, even if they're correct about the questions that they're asking are bad. Like, for instance, I'll give you an for instance. Okay, so during BLM, there was like rioting, of course, and I understand. But some people were stealing. Some people seem to be using the rioting to steal rather than to actually, like, well, not riot, because that doesn't exactly help your platform. And there were some people that might have questioned that. Some of them might have been dishonest about it, but that were questioning that and saying, like, hey, this doesn't seem like activism to me. And those people were labeled as racist, right? And so I think that was kind of somewhat of a mainstream narrative. And I think that that's frustrated people to a point where they just don't believe it. If it's mainstream, they don't believe it. Even though I'd say most mainstream things are true, right? But now we have people that are just anti-mainstream. Like, they're not woke, they're just anti-mainstream. And I think that part of it has to do with that. And so now, like, these types of conspiracies tend to like take hold a little bit more. I think that might have something to do with it. That's not the whole thing to blame, you know, but I think that might have something to do with it.
Definitely have been feeling less safe as a member of the
yeah, like Ryan says, I do think that people who label every single person they don't like as a Nazi does play a role in it. Yeah, it's like that kind of stuff, you know, like everything that you say, like you can't just be ignorant anymore. I know that sounds crazy, but like dude, I've said the whole time, everybody has a little prejudice in their heart, and sometimes they might express it and not even realize that they have a prejudice, and then it, you know, it takes a little bit of like, hey, you know that this is wrong for this reason. And sometimes instead of doing that, we cancel people and we kind of shit up and down their neck. You know, and I don't think that it leads to productive conversation, especially since I don't think a lot of people realize the prejudice they may have in their heart, and they go like, oh fuck, you know. But since we didn't really approach the subject particularly well, people tend to like double down, and that's not the whole issue. There's also the other side of people there who are bigoted and prejudiced that are waiting to capitalize on stuff like that. It's obviously a complicated situation, but I think that plays a role into like the pure anti-mainstream perspective of some of these situations.
Community because of people just spreading the idea that we're groomers and pedophiles simply for existing.
True.
And it's like it's impossible to use logic.
Well, it's not true. It's a good call out.
Or science
Wait,
or evidence to convince these people that they're wrong. So it's like, what the fuck do you even do? And then the people on the other side think we're indoctrinated and we don't care about science or evidence. I don't know. I guess all we can do is keep trying to put good information out there and keep standing up for each other. I don't really have any solutions to offer you. Just know that if you've been feeling hopeless lately, I'm right there with you. Just know that if you're Jewish or trans or black or
Ryan, I hope that you're not about to plug Better Health. Okay, dude. I hear that's not a great service.
Woman or whatever, I genuinely care about you. I think you deserve to be seen as a human being and treated with dignity.
Mostly as a human being.
I mean, that's
mostly a human being, not fully. Because you're a woman, but I agree.
kind of the bare minimum, but that's where we're at right now.
Fuck.
So I promise I'll keep fighting for you. I guess that's about it. I'll see you next time.
Well, you know, I thought that was a pretty good video.
On March 27th.
Dude, I'm just trying to, it's my birthday. Sorry, that was a good video, Ryan. I will say that the DPS in my group is fucking abysmal dog shit, and it's tilting the fuck out of me. Just one of them is really bad, but this is just taking like an insane amount of time to fucking do. And I don't understand why. But yeah, it was a good video, man.
I want Papa Gut to pee on my face, but just as a friend. There's nothing weird about that. I want him to pee on my face.